For most of us, it's hard to remember what life was like before we had blue boxes and green bins and curbside recycling programs. However, one person who can certainly remember what it was like is Jack McGinnis. Jack is widely known as the guru of curbside recycling in Ontario and around the world. And for decades, he's been championing the causes of sustainability and curbside recycling.
Well, garbage is a fairly recent phenomenon. Modern garbage really only started in North America in the 1950s. Up until that point, everything was informal. People often threw things out the back door. They didn't really think about it too much. And if anything, people would just sort of throw it in a pile and toss a match and burn it. Realized that's not a very safe or sensible way to do things. So municipalities across North America began in the 1950s trying to modernize how they handled waste. And they created special vehicles, special techniques, special ways to do it as part of professional modern waste management. In the city of Toronto in the 1950s, the city realized that it was less expensive to have people put out waste in garbage bags than it was in garbage cans, which were the first version they had for modern waste management. So for about 6 months, the city gave all residents free garbage bags to basically get them addicted to this new habit. Through the 70s, people like myself who became actively involved realized that there was something we believed in, but that it was very informal, very amateur. Garbage had a whole industry. It had people that worked in it. It had professionals. It had fancy equipment, and recycling didn't. So we knew that what was needed was a tool and a method to connect desire to results. And by giving people a reasonably good education program, a convenient box, a weekly pickup, something that essentially was as easy as throwing things in the garbage. But from 1981 to 1983, we had the chance to finally test it in a real environment in the city of Kitchener with a 1,500 home pilot program. And what really came out at the end of the 2-year program as being absolutely the clearest, best solution was a simple blue box given to each home or offered to each home with the phrase "we recycle" on the side. And people, in accepting the box, were accepting that they were going to make a commitment to do something about their recycling in their home. And when they put it out at the curbside, they were making a statement that told their neighbors, "We recycle, do you recycle?" The question I'm asked most commonly is, why blue? Why is the box blue? We had to choose a color that made sense for ultraviolet degradation. And green actually doesn't work that well and also sounds a little bit like a garbage color. And some of the other colors were just, they wouldn't hold up. I personally brought more than 1 million households onto recycling through the blue box over the next 10 years, through Europe, through the Caribbean, through the United States, across Canada. Ontario has a lot to be proud of, and all of it is pride not by any one person like myself, but by the millions of people who every week make a commitment to do the right thing with their blue box.
Now, personally speaking, I just can't imagine what life would be like anymore without blue boxes and green bins to help us divert our waste, and that really is thanks in large part to people like Jack McGinnis. When I compare this initiative to our current problems regarding global warming and our societal habits that contribute towards it, it gives me a lot of hope to realize that if people are given the right opportunities to get involved, they'll gladly become part of the grassroots to Green Earth solution. I'm Eric Novak, and I'll see you next time.